Hey, my name's Matt Kelly, and for the last probably 5 to 10 years, I've been working in the digital marketing, social media, technology, rough sector. And in that time, I've worked for some pretty amazing companies. I've done some pretty cool things. I've worked in Australia. I've worked overseas. We've done crazy experiments. And I figure that, after hosting a podcast that's done okay, after writing a book that's done okay, it's probably about time that I started to share some of these insights with the world. So this is a brand new show. It's a brand new test. You're watching episode 0. And I thought I'd share with you my mantra in the digital marketing space, because I'm really fortunate now to have built a company where we've now got 9 staff. We're doing pretty well, working with some cool brands, but I'm also really proud of just what we do day to day, and I think it's worth sharing. So first of all, I'm going to tell you some of the things I believe about marketing. Second of all, I'm going to share with you, I guess it's like, why me? Why me? I think it's important that when you hear about my views in the world, then you also get the context of why those views are meaningful or possibly important, or whether you should trust them at all. So this is the office. As you can see, it's cool, it's fun. This is where we live and spend most of our time. And now let's talk about what actually matters to me in the world of digital marketing. I believe that we are in a pretty crazy time right now. I believe that we're going to look back in 20, 30, 40 years' time and go, whoa, I can't believe that back then you could build an audience of millions of people. I can't believe back then you could go and reach someone based on very niche targeting. I don't believe that you could go and get a group of people who are passionate about what you have to say and engage them on a day-to-day basis. I think we're in a really unique time. This has never ever been possible before, and yet today I can create a video in half an hour and I can be talking to you right now, and you can see this and you can choose to engage with it or not. That's fascinating, and that is still unique, right? In 2015, that's still unique. In 2015, people still aren't really taking advantage of this, and that's mind-blowing to me. I believe that these technologies have meant that we're all connected. Everyone is connected. So it's not good enough to say, I don't know the answer, or because I don't know it, it can't exist. It's not enough to say, I don't know the right people, or I'm not in the right environment. If you want to meet someone, if you want to connect with someone, if you want to learn from someone, now is the time. The platforms already exist. Those people are already out there sharing their knowledge with the world. There is no reason why it isn't your moment. There isn't any reason why it can't work for you. So why not take advantage of that? Why not take a step forward and actually reach out to that person, jump on LinkedIn and work out how to connect with people in your space? It's a crazy time right now. I believe that if you're a company in 2015, there isn't really an excuse for you to not have some tech savvy in your organization. Even if you are a solo entrepreneur, I believe that you should be dedicating time to building relationships with people, to creating content, and then being smart with technologies and saying, all right, this message is compelling. I want it to reach this group of people. How do I do that? Okay, let's look at where those people are, let's look at what their characteristics and their behaviors are, and let's distribute it to them using smart marketing. Whether it's paid, whether it's organic, it doesn't matter. There are so many different mechanisms to get messages to people. That is freaking exciting. But what I also believe is that there's smart and there are dumb ways to market in 2015. And if you go all in, if you're a thinker, a strategizer, you're a brainstormer, and you spend months preparing that big, elaborate, smart, strategic campaign, I think it's probably not the right way to implement in 2015. I think there are smarter ways to deliver. And what I would be doing is I would be moving in an iterative format. I would be testing and learning. I would be creating 5 pieces of content and then targeting those to different parts of your audience. Because when you do that, you learn so much more than if you just sort of come up with one message and try and spray it to everyone. Smart marketing in 2015 is what really matters. I believe that the best form of business development is the kind where people come to you. Sure, cold calling is still important. Sure, cold calling still exists. Sure, getting out on the street, rocking up to someone's office unannounced is a great way to get in front of them, and it does work. But I'll tell you what we're doing right now, this works at scale, and scale is what makes you so much more effective for a much longer duration. It's about creating content and stories that actually resonate with an audience and making sure that those people can discover them in the future. That is cool. But before I go too much further with these airy-fairy, high-level statements, I think it's important that I set context for the room. It's important that you know who I am, you know what I've done, and you know whether or not you should trust me, because the truth is, maybe you shouldn't, right? If you've got decades of experience and you drove the digital revolution, then there are other people that you could be watching right now, and you probably haven't even got this far into the video, so it doesn't matter. But I want to set the tone of the room. Here we go. Now in 2005, I got a job with a financial services company. I was studying marketing at university and it was a really awesome job that got me sent to some crazy cool places overseas. I was at conferences, I was traveling through Asia, and that was an awesome experience. I got to go up there, I got to speak on stage. Actually, that's not technically true. I was at conferences in Asia, and when I say I was speaking on stage, I was actually singing karaoke, which is apparently what everyone does over there. Still, amazing experience, and I can comfortably say that I met some geniuses in the technology space, in the technology sector, in an environment that is actually very unconventionally slow in the technology landscape. So that was a good experience, that was very interesting. While working some quite boring jobs from time to time, I decided it's not good enough and I had to go and learn from some smart people. Now, typically what you would do there is you'd go and listen to podcasts, you would go and look up YouTube videos, that's all cool. I decided I wanted to interview smart people. I wanted to get my perspective on those smart people, and you know, through some basic hustle, I found David Simon Garland, I found Guy Kawasaki, I found Brian Brushwood, and those guys were all very, very willing to talk to someone who at the time had no idea what they were talking about, i.e. me, was really excited, wanted to learn from the best, and they gave me their time. That set me on a totally different path because I realized that no one is actually untouchable. These guys were geniuses in their space, they built huge audiences, huge communities, and yet they were still willing to give me their time. That is very awesome. I subsequently went and got a job in another large corporate organisation here in Brisbane, Australia. This was a large insurance company. Good experience, worked on some cool products and got to build for large user bases. I was also put on stage a few times to talk about this cool social digital technology thing, which people got excited about. So that was awesome. But again, it was a traditional corporate job. So what happens when you do a traditional corporate job? You go, well, what else could I be doing? A friend and I got excited, we went online, we were browsing articles, we were like, what cool content can we create? So we decided to go and set a world record on recordsetter.com. Now, we thought we were smart, we picked a world record called the world's longest high five. Great idea, because that got picked up by a bunch of press outlets, which was an even better idea because that resulted in the two of us getting flown over to Austin, Texas, South by Southwest. I'm wearing the hoodie right now, and that resulted in us being on a stage, crowd surfing, breaking world records at a huge record setter event in the middle of America. Crazy experience for two Australians. Awesome. Returned to Brisbane, wrote a book, got stupidly lucky, right time, right place, hit the bestseller list. Same friend I broke the world record with, Dave Thompson, we then got together and we started the Living Outrageously podcast. There's about 100 hours of LOP episodes on iTunes. It's an awesome show. I'm so proud of what we created back then. A lot of people caught onto it and really enjoyed it. That was a cool experience. Also a bit crazy because that also hit #1, but that was in the iTunes store. Cool, great experience. Off the back of all these cool experiences, while still working traditional corporate jobs, I found myself talking to the CEO of a huge technology incubator called the Monkey Inferno. Sean Puri is a genius. 3 months later, I was actually flown over there. Visa was sponsored and I had a desk. I was the head of product marketing at the Monkey Inferno. But where this got even more crazy with my love of social media, my love of social channels, was when the founder of the Monkey Inferno, Michael Birch, bought back the social network that he once sold, which was Bebo.com. Some of you will remember that from the early mid-2000s. So we bought Bebo back. I got to work on some cool press, some cool relaunch strategy, which was an awesome, ridiculous experience. We're talking about a user base of 80 million plus people. That was awesome. Even got my name mentioned in a few of the press articles. So that is a cool experience. Fast forward, went to a whole bunch more events, like South by Southwest, again in Texas. I've been now 3 times. That is cool. The last time, got to hang out with Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary is a legend, and I'm a huge fan of his. Thank you, Gary Vaynerchuk. While working at Monkey Inferno, got to play with some awesome, fun new technologies like Google Glass. That was cool. But all the good things come to an end, and after a period of time, I decided that it was time to get back to Brisbane, to come back here where my whole family is. So my wife and I relocated to Brisbane, and I started JMD. It's our social agency that we've built. We work with a lot of brands, and it's been a fun experience. So early last year, we launched the whole business from 0 clients, 0 revenue, 1 employee, and we've built since then. We were lucky to get some early press attention, which drove some big upside with prospect clients and really got them interested in what we were doing, curious to learn more about our process, our formula, what makes us unique, how we can help. Drove a lot of exciting discussions. And since then, we've signed a bunch of clients, and I've been privileged to actually speak at a bunch of pretty exciting events, from radio interviews to big conferences, and, you know, based on the style you're seeing right now, probably not the conventional speaker, right? It's fairly unconventional to be standing on a stage wearing a t-shirt when there's a room full of corporate accountants and asking them to participate while I take a selfie with everyone. Didn't go down super well, but fun experience. Alright, and this is the office. And that is people. Do something, people. Whoa! Hey! We've since created a bunch of content, we've built a bunch of cool campaigns, we're working with some awesome brands, and we've developed our own formula, which I believe is the sole secret to a successful social digital marketing campaign. And that is the basis of the iterative learning cycle. Essentially, there are two phases to this effort. In the first phase, it is the strategy development and the KPI definition phase. It's what do we want to do and how do we know that we've achieved success, right? That's us formulating the high level expectations. Then we move into phase 2. Now phase 2 moves directly into delivery. This is not a 3-month research phase. This is how can we deliver something, how can we get something live in the next 48 hours. We start with developing a hypothesis. So we start with, I believe that this audience will care about this message. We jump onto social channels, we create some micro content, we blast it to them, and we see whether they care or not. If they did care, awesome, do more of that. If they didn't care, cool, let's try something different. And we continue that process like it's a big funnel until we work out what content resonates with which audience on an ongoing basis. I believe that you get to a solution, to a more effective social campaign much faster. I believe that you don't need the big splashy story 9 times out of 10. And I think it's a much more exciting way of working because it's fast-paced and it's lean, it's iterative. So that is our iterative learning cycle, and that is my true belief on the key purpose, the key opportunity in a real social campaign. Using that methodology, we've created a bunch of cool things. We've had a lot of success building off-brand communities. These are communities with no brand associated, purely for learning. We've reached tens of millions of people in the last 6 months, purely through creating content and distributing it to different audiences. I'm really, really proud of how we've gone. Alright, well that's me done for the day. I just wanted to give you guys this little bit of an intro video just so that you can see who Matt Kelly is, what I've done, and why I think I've got some insight to share. I'm going to create a bunch of these videos and hopefully they're of value to you. If they are, don't hesitate to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, send me a tweet, whatever you like. Yeah, letting me know what you think is always going to be useful, it's always going to be helpful. So yeah, it's handy to know as well. It's handy to know if people actually care, if you actually want to hear more, if you want to see how we deliver work, if you want to see what we do. If any of that is valuable to you, then I'm keen to share, keen to provide. If not, that's totally cool too. Yeah, long day. It's like 9 PM. Finally heading home. I will see all of you guys very, very soon.